Hey there, Psycho, heard the news. There's a new podcast made just for you. So if you like psych and pineapples too, then I know you know what to do. Come on down to Santa Barbara town and get ready for Psyched.
Hello, and welcome to Psyched, a podcast where we discuss all things Psych, the hit USA TV show. From hidden pineapples to crazy nicknames, come on, son, and join the fun. If you are a fan of delicious flavor, and have heard it both ways, this is for you. I'm Keaton, your host, also known as Sean Gus Psych on Instagram, link in the description. I started watching a few seasons in, live on TV, and since then I've seen every episode at least twice. Today we are talking about Game, Set, Murder, Season 1, Episode 13. So here's the plot summary, psychusa.fandom.com, because I just love how they write it. In 1985, Sean and Gus are playing a game of Battleship. Sean is easily winning, having hit one of Gus's ships on every turn. Henry walks by and hears the two boys fighting, with Gus accusing Sean of cheating. Henry says that best friends should always trust each other, the way a cop does his partner. However, he soon discovers Sean never put any chips up on his side of the board and is punished for cheating. On the present day, Sean comes to the police station board looking for a case. Gus is out of town at a retreat with his company. While at the station, Sean sees a man, Leonard, talking to Chief Vic. His daughter, Deanna, a highly ranked local tennis player, is missing. The prime suspect is a former stalker of hers, Felix Alvarez. After Sean enters her office, psychically determining a tennis player is missing, Vic relents and allows Sean to locate Deanna psychically while the cops follow leads. I just thought that scene was so funny. And I just watched the episode, right before I started recording, so. Sean gets Gus out of his retreat by telling his bosses that Gus's grandmother is ill. Together they go to the house where they learn that how do you say his last name? I'm having problems saying his last name. Anyway, where they learn that besides tennis, photography was a hobby of Deanna's. They also learn Leonard had a security camera put into Deanna's room after Felix broke into the house and discover a cheap gold ring among her expensive jewelry. It's an eternity ring given by someone with whom she was probably intimate. Clearly, she doesn't wear the ring all the time. Must be from a secret lover. Must be from a secret lover her controlling father doesn't approve of. Sean and Gus go to the tennis club to talk to Deanna's practice partner. She tells them that Deanna was boy crazy. She recently started dating another player on the tour and her father wasn't happy about it. Deanna might just be laying low to get her father off her back. And after discovering an alternate address for her in the club computer, they have a good idea where. When they get to the apartment, the police, EMTs, and crime scene photographer are already there. Deanna is being loaded, unconscious, into an ambulance. There is no longer a missing persons case. It's attempted murder. In the apartment, Sean sees more cheap jewelry. The secret boyfriend must have been here. There are many pictures of Deanna, mostly taken in the apartment. Sean notices a trophy is present in all the pictures but is now missing from the shelf. This must have been the weapon used in the attempt on Deanna's life. Lassiter hauls Felix in and is convinced he is the right man after finding the bloody trophy in the suspect's car, but Sean still has doubts. Juliet agrees and tells him that Felix's psychiatrists say he was completely rehabilitated. Plus, he has a medical condition that has him on dialysis, which leaves a person too exhausted to stalk and attack someone. Felix is being framed. Juliet gives Sean the police files on Felix's original break-in and the one on Deanna's attempted murder to see what he can divine from them. Sean takes the files to Henry, who tells his son that police reports aren't gospel. They are just one person's view of what happened. Sean looks at the crime scene photos from the attack and notices a discrepancy between the shadows in the pictures and how the shadows fell on the apartment wall when they were there when the crime scene photographer was taking the pictures. Sean and Gus go back to the apartment at the same time of the day they were there before. Sean was right. The shadows don't match the pictures. Not to mention all the clocks are wrong and a picture is missing. Additionally, in the crime scene photos, the lights are on in the front of the restaurant across the street. However, they do not turn on automatically until 5 o'clock in the evening. How is this possible? Sean's figured it out. He and Gus go to the police station, not only to tell them they figured out who the attacker is, but also that he is there in their midst. It's the crime scene photographer. He met Deanna when he photographed her house after Felix broke in. They had been seeing each other ever since, until Deanna started dating the other tennis player and wanted to break it off. The photographer went to her house, confronted her, and hit her with the trophy. He cleaned up all the evidence that he was there, but when he looked at all the photos he'd taken of the crime scene, he noticed something in one of them that could incriminate him. His camera bag with his initials in a picture on the shelf. He had to go back and retake the crime scene photos, setting everything up the same way, even setting the clocks back to the right time. Everything exactly in the same, minus the incriminating picture now missing from the shelf. Unfortunately for him, he forgot to set the clocks back to their correct time before he left. With the case solved, Gus is able to make it back to his company retreat before it's over, impressing his boss so much with his attention to his ailing grandmother, he gives him... Ooh, I just clicked on something. He gives him a lucrative new distribution route. Oh my god. I don't know why I struggled so much reading that today. I'm sorry about that. Okay, so that is what happened. Okay, before I go into likes and dislikes, I wanted to share some exciting news. I have a few. So first, we got an announcement of Psych Movie 3. There's going to be a Psych Movie 3. It's very exciting. They have apparently went to Canada and are quarantining, and then they're going to start to film. I'm very excited. It's all about Gus, apparently. I think it's called This Is Gus. Also, we are almost done with season 1 of this podcast, and I'm still looking for guest hosts, if anyone's interested. But also, I may have some episodes with a co-host. I think I'm going to do it. I am in the mountains. I have moved to the mountains in Wyoming. A little different than where I was before in Ohio. And I'm very busy with work. The service isn't great. So my co-host may just send videos of her opinions, and I'll just add them in to the podcast. But it's going to be really cool to have like a second opinion and discuss the episode. So we will see on that. It is pending. That may be for season 2, I'm pretty sure. She's very, 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 very new to Psych. So that will be super cool. She's going to watch season 1 and then maybe join in for season 2. I think that is all the exciting news. Okay, let's go into likes and dislikes. Dislikes? I honestly just have to start out by saying, why would anyone who is stupid enough to put a security camera in someone's bedroom? Like, unless you're a stalker, which it was the dad who put the security camera in the daughter's bedroom. So that was weird. Which I hope she just changed in the bathroom all the time and did stuff like that in the bathroom all the time instead of her room. 'Cause for the dad to see that, that'd be so weird. I would not want my dad to see that. That's like the biggest dislike. That's all I really can think of. But some quotes and some likes. When Sean says, "We find her mystery lover. We find her," and being all dramatic, and Gus gets so jealous. And then later on, Juliet does it too. She says, "This isn't a missing persons case. This is attempted murder." And Gus gets so mad again. And he keeps trying throughout the episode to be dramatic like that. And it just doesn't work. And then when they go visit her tennis friend, Deanna's tennis friend, and she asks Sean, you know what her weakness was? And Sean says kittens. Because that is me. I love that. That is me. And then, of course, Sean and Gus getting their nails done is everything. And then Sean explaining to Gus what they know. He's jumping on the chair. All dramatic. And Gus is so funny. And then, of course, he's trying to be all nervous and stuff for Gus's boss to, like, hide the fact that he's never met him. And so he's like, pancake. Pancake. He's trying to do medical terms. He's like, pancake. And then, of course, Sean meeting up with Jules. And him kind of, like, making fun of her for saying winter bear tired. Because who says that? That is true. And then the funny thing that she says is roosters don't cackle, they cockle doodle-doo. Wow. She said it so much better. There you go. You can look that up and watch her say it. And then, of course, Sean goes to his dad for help. Of course. And Sean has to close his eyes and think about the crime scene. And then he has to go to the next crime scene to think about that one. So he asks Henry, he's like, can we stop on the way and get donuts? And Henry's like, just do it. Just think about the crime scene. And it's really funny. And then, of course, which I'm guessing it was like the landlord or something, who walks in when they sneak into the crime scene, back into the crime scene, and Gus has to be the victim. And then the guy walks in, and Gus pretends to be dead and freaks him out. Like, he sees the person, he's like, what am I supposed to do? And he just closes his eyes. And then my question is, so at Captain Connors, in that episode, there's a scene where Juliet sneezes. And in this episode, there's a scene where Juliet sneezes. So usually they cut stuff like that out. But I feel like it's important for some reason. I don't understand it. That is like my main question. And then Lassie and Henry going fishing. And Henry's like, he's so boring. I can't deal with it. That's hilarious. And then Sean coming to Henry and seeing him asleep and yelling, "Father!" and wakes him up. That is amazing. That is great. So this episode, I don't watch this episode much, but it was really good. It's really good. Like, I have my favorites from season 1, like Scary Sherry and stuff like that. But this is so good. So I think those are my main likes. And then the one weird dislike. And, are you ready for the next segment? I got one. This is I Know, You Know. So this is where we talk about actors who are in the show. So we got the dad, Thomas Capecci. However you say it. I don't know how to say both of his last names. He was in West Wing, which Dule was in West Wing, right? And then I think the chief also guest starred in a few episodes, I believe. And I don't know if I mentioned this, but she was just on. So, fun fact. So Psych is similar to Monk. And Monk is a fantastic show. I've talked about Monk before. And I think I might have mentioned that Randy Disher, who's played by Jason Gray Stanford, started a podcast on Monk. Well, this week, he had Trailer Howard on, who plays Natalie Teeger. And she was in an episode of The West Wing. Fun fact. And then also, he was in one episode of LA Law, which is Corbin Burnson Henry, his main show. And then I think it said he was on one episode of The Middle or something like that. It was Malcolm in the Middle. He was on one episode. And then a bunch of other stuff I didn't really know. And I didn't know anyone else either. I mean, maybe hidden in I couldn't see, but yeah, he has a few things. Not that I've seen any of I haven't seen LA Law or The West Wing yet. I've seen Malcolm in the Middle, but like they're pretty famous shows, and other actors were on those shows, so I thought I'd mention them. Oh, he's in No Country for Old Men. I think that's based on another Psych episode. Or, a Psych episode they related a Psych episode to that movie. Something like that. I don't know, it just popped up. I'm like, oh, I kind of recognize that. I've never seen it, though. Again. But I just feel like there's the one with Lloyd. If you really want spoilers, Juliet has a stepfather, and he's crazy, and there's a crazy episode with him and Henry, and I think that's kind of based on that. At least the title is, because I don't know anything about this movie, if it's a movie. The title is similar, so it might be. If you want to fact check me, that'd be great. Okay, honestly, so I've been so busy with work that sorry, I can't even speak because I'm not even prepared because this segment is sad. Are you a fan of delicious flavor? So usually I ask people on Instagram to tell me where the pineapple is in this episode, and then I'll shout them out. So first of all, I've been super busy with work. I kind of forgot, but I knew I needed to record this episode. So that's just, no one's going to get shouted out. And second of all, not many people reply, interestingly enough. I mean, it is kind of a weird podcast. I'm not the most exciting podcast you could have. But, the pineapple is when they go to the Indian restaurant. Some ladies eating pineapple in the background, I guess. So there's that. I know where the pineapple is. I just didn't ask people, even though I like doing shout-outs. So, that's great. Okay. Next segment, I've heard it both ways. So, I don't think there's plot holes in this. Like, at all. The first season is Sean has big psychic revelations and makes a huge scene, and then it kind of dies down a little bit as the show goes on. And then spoilers, in the movies, it's like nothing. That's not really a plot hole. That's just something I noticed. I don't know. I feel like Gus's work, like the bosses change all the time and things happen and he can just skip work, but he's still like the top employee. And it's just weird. I feel like if I take one sick day, I'm like moved to the bottom of the list. But he's like impressing his boss. But I get it. Take care of the grandmother. You like people. You have to impress people for his job to sell the drugs. But like in season 2, there's a different boss. And the boss like yells at him. I don't know. That's a spoiler, by the way, also. But we'll get to that. No, that's season 3. Ghosts. The episode Ghosts, I think that's season 3. He gets a completely new boss, I believe. Unless there's just like 50 bosses running around trying to boss Gus around. I have no idea. But I think his work is a little It's not like set. There's not no set thing, and it changes all the time. So that could be a big plot hole. And I think we're on our last segment. I'm making this short because I'm super busy. Let's go to pop references. Okay. So the only one I noticed, is when Sean, I don't even know why, but Sean was naming Seven Dwarfs. He was naming like some of the dwarfs. So that goes to Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. That goes to Disney princesses. That's a big pop reference. And I don't know if there's any other pop references in this episode. Tennis. Yeah, I didn't notice any. If you noticed some, you can comment below. And oh yeah, I do have another exciting piece of information. The Junk Monk podcast, which is one of the best podcasts ever, because there's a co-host and they discuss so much in depth, and they're so smart and so knowledgeable about the TV show Monk. They have actually shouted us out, this podcast out, in a few episodes previously, but I'm actually going to be, appearing for a segment on one of their episodes in a couple weeks. So that will be super exciting. I'm so excited. Like, they are amazing. They're fans of Monk, but, I'm a fan of them. It's exciting. So I will post that probably on the Instagram when that comes out, and I'm so excited for it. They're doing a fan episode. So a fan of the show, which is a fan of Monk. So the fans of the show are they got together a few, and each one is doing one segment, and it's going to be so cool. So I'm so excited for that. And yes, I think I'm going to eat some lunch, which may include some pineapple, because I do have that in my fridge. That would be good. Also, I may be making cuatro quesos dos fritos. Spoiler, that's in another episode in the future. That is a psych food. It is known to be a psych food. And I heard that certain stores have air fryers for not that much money, which I grew to believe that they were super expensive. So I may be doing that. I did try it once without an air fryer. It does not work unless you're super talented, which I'm not. So watch out for that too. Because I do have some weekend days where it could be raining. I like to go hiking. So I moved to 2 national parks, basically. And so I like to go explore the parks on my days off if I'm not super tired and dead. And the weather might be bad, so I could just go cooking. So that will be so exciting. I may have to do a video instead of this type of podcast and actually show it off in the podcast. That'd be so cool. So that is the end of the podcast. Almost done with season 1. It's so exciting. There's new characters coming soon, and I cannot wait for it. So I'm going to end this with cock-a-doodle-doo.